The Silver Nebula Diner was always full during the evening cycle. Humans, aliens, machines, traders, pilots, and travelers from far worlds all came there because the food was cheap and the lights were warm. But for Revek, a young alien waiter, the diner was not a friendly place. It was simply a job he needed to survive on the giant space station. Revek always tried to smile at customers, even the rude ones. Many humans ignored him, and some aliens teased his long, thin arms and soft green skin, but he stayed calm. He needed the credits. He needed the work. And he believed that one day his life would change, even if he had no idea how. That night, a man walked into the diner who did not look like any normal traveler. He wore a long dark coat, old boots, and gloves made from some metal-woven fabric. His face was calm, almost empty, like he was thinking about something far away. He sat alone in the corner and watched the room without moving his head. It felt like his eyes saw everything. Revek noticed him immediately. Something about the man felt heavy, not dangerous, but serious. Like he was carrying a story that no one else could understand. Revek walked to his table. "Good evening, sir. Can I take your order?" he asked politely. The man looked up slowly, his eyes sharp but quiet. He did not smile. He simply said, "Water and the nebula stew." Revek wrote it down and walked back to the kitchen. But he did not stop thinking about the stranger. His movements, his calm voice, the way he watched the doors, the windows, the other customers, everything felt unusual. When Revek brought the food, the man nodded once but said nothing more. He ate calmly, slowly, like he had all the time in the world. But every few seconds, his eyes shifted to check the entrance, then the back door. Revek felt a small chill in his body. Was someone following this man? Was he in trouble? Or was he the kind of person who created trouble? 30 minutes later, the man finished his meal. He stood up, picked up his coat, and walked toward the exit. He did not say thank you, and as usual, Revek expected no tip. Many customers left without tipping, especially humans who did not respect alien workers. Revek sighed and went to clean the table, but when he lifted the plate, his hand froze. A small metallic chip, round and glowing faintly blue, was stuck underneath the plate. Something written on it shimmered like tiny stars. He blinked. "What is this?" he whispered. He tapped the chip gently. A tiny holographic text appeared so small only he could read it. "You are in danger. Do not show this to anyone. Someone is coming. Run. RHEVA. K single quotes S. Heart jumped. His fingers shook. He looked around the diner quickly. Nobody seemed to notice him. Nobody cared. But the message felt real. Too real. Why would a stranger leave this for him? Why would he be in danger? He was only a waiter, a nobody, a simple worker. He had no secrets, no enemies, no importance, unless someone thought he did. Before Revek could think more, the diner lights flickered, the air hummed. Customers looked up, confused. The main door opened with a sharp hiss. 3 tall figures stepped inside. Their uniforms looked like security officers, but their faces were too stiff, too emotionless. Their eyes scanned the room like scanners, not like living beings. One of them said loudly, "We are looking for a human male. He left this area minutes ago. Black coat, quiet, dangerous." Revek's breath caught. They were not looking for him. They were looking for the man who left the warning. But the message had been for RHEVAK. Why? One of the officers suddenly looked straight at him, eyes glowing faintly red. "You, waiter, did the human leave anything behind?" Revek quickly hid the chip in his palm. His skin burned with fear. He forced a small smile. "No, sir, nothing. He just ate and left." The officer stared at him too long. Too coldly. Then he turned away. But Revek felt something worse. Someone outside the diner was watching him. He looked toward the window. In the dark hallway beyond the glass, the mysterious human stood waiting, his face half hidden, his hand motioning silently. "Follow me, now." Revok swallowed hard. His life as a simple waiter was over. Revok stood frozen behind the diner window. The mysterious human, the same man who left the warning chip, was waiting in the shadow of the hallway. His hand moved again. Slow and clear. Come. Now. Revok looked over his shoulder. The fake officers were still inside the diner, questioning customers, scanning tables, talking to the manager. Their calm movements felt dangerous, like hunters pretending to be helpers. Their eyes glowed faintly like machines, and their voices sounded too smooth to be natural. Revok knew he could not stay. He slipped the chip deeper into his pocket and quietly pushed the back door button. The metal door opened with a soft hiss, and he slipped out, trying not to make a sound. The hallway was colder than he expected. The lights flickered in long, slow waves, like the station itself was nervous. The human stepped back into the darkness as Revok approached. "Come this way," the man said in a low voice. Revok followed him through a narrow service corridor that smelled like old metal and warm engines. The man moved with strange precision, fast, but not rushed. Alert, but not afraid. Revok finally whispered, "Why did you leave that message? Why am I in danger?" The man did not turn around. Instead he said, "Because they are not here for me. They are here for you." Revok stopped walking. His stomach tightened. "What? Me? Why? I'm just a waiter." The man paused at the corner of the hallway and looked back at him. For the first time, Revok saw the human's face clearly. It was calm, but his eyes carried a weight, like he had seen too many battles and survived only by learning to never trust silence. "My name is Vale," the man said, "and you are not just a waiter." Revok felt confused. "I don't understand. I have nothing. I'm nobody." Vale shook his head. "No, you are someone they need. And someone worth killing for." Revok's legs felt weak. His voice trembled. "What do they want from me?" Vale motioned him to keep moving. "Not here. The walls have ears." They continued down the corridor until they reached a rusted maintenance lift. Vale pressed a combination of buttons so fast Revok could not follow. The lift door opened with a grinding sound. Inside the lift, the world felt even smaller. Revok finally gathered courage. "You said they're here for me. What do they think I am?" Vale took a slow breath. "Not what they think you are. What you truly are." The lift started moving downward, shaking slightly like it was too old to be doing this much work. The lights above flickered softly. Vale continued, "Your species has a long history. Most of it forgotten, most of it destroyed. But your bloodline, your family, was once very important." Revok blinked in confusion. "My family? They died when I was young. Everyone told me they were poor." "No," Vale said gently. "They were hiding. Someone powerful was hunting them." Revok stepped back, his heart racing. "Why? What did they do?" Vale looked him straight in the eyes. "They carried something your enemies want. Something only your blood can unlock." That sentence struck Revok like lightning. He felt like his world was breaking open. He felt small again, fragile, unsure of everything he thought he knew. "Unlock? What?" Revok whispered. "An artifact," Vale said quietly. "A very old one. Very powerful and very dangerous." Revok shook his head. "This cannot be true. I don't even know anything about my family." Vale placed a hand on his shoulder. "That is why I came. To protect you. Before they find you." Suddenly, the lift jerked violently. A loud alarm echoed through the shaft. Metallic voices rang from above. "Target detected. Accessing lower levels. Do not let them escape." Revok's blood turned cold. "They found us." Vale calmly pulled a strange metallic device from his coat. It was only a matter of time. The lift doors opened into a massive engine room filled with steam clouds and metal pipes. Vale grabbed Revok's arm. "Stay behind me," he said. "And whatever happens, do not run away from me. Run with me." Behind them, the lift door slammed open. Dark silhouettes appeared, their eyes glowing red in the mist. Revok finally understood one thing. This man did not come to scare him. This man came to save him, and the danger was real, closer than he ever imagined. The engine room was huge, dark, and filled with twisting metal pipes that hissed steam like angry snakes. Blue sparks danced on the floor every few seconds as old wires struggled to survive another year. Revok had worked near this section before, delivering meals to tired engineers, but he had never entered this deep. It felt like the heart of the giant space station, hot, loud, and always trembling. Vale moved fast, but he never lost control. Every step, every turn, every decision seemed planned already in his mind. Revok tried to keep close, but his legs shook and his breath felt too thin. Behind them, the attackers entered the room. Their boots clanged on the metal ground, echoing like war drums. Their eyes glowed bright red in the mist. Revok whispered, "Who are they? Security officers?" Vale shook his head. "No, they only look like officers. They are machines inside, controlled by someone who wants you." Revok felt a deep fear rise inside him. "Why me? I'm no one." "No," Vale said firmly. "You are not no one. You are the key." They crouched behind a large fuel pipe as two attackers scanned the area with laser trackers. Revok covered his mouth, trying not to breathe loudly. He felt like a child hiding from monsters. Vale leaned closer and spoke softly. "Revok, you think you are just a waiter because that is the life you were given. But your life before that was hidden from you." Revok stared at him, confused. "Hidden?" Vale nodded. "Your parents were not poor. They were not ordinary. They were protectors, guardians of an ancient relic lost in your world's final war." Revok felt his chest tighten. "My world's war? The one that destroyed my home?" "Yes," Vale said. "That war wasn't only about territory. It was about the relic. Your family was chosen to guard it because your bloodline is the last one connected to it." Revok could not believe what he was hearing. "I'm just normal. I don't have anything special." Vale looked at him with calm, serious eyes. "That is what makes you special. You survived. The bloodline survived." Revok held his head. "But why didn't anyone tell me? Why didn't I escape with my family?" "You did," Vale said. "But you were too young to remember. They hid you on a refugee ship and stayed behind to distract the hunters." Revok's hands trembled. "So they died because of me?" "No," Vale said sharply. "They died protecting something bigger than all of us." Suddenly, Vale pushed Revok aside as a laser shot flew over their heads, burning the metal wall behind them. The attackers had seen them. Vale shouted, "Move!" They ran deeper into the engine room, weaving through pipes and ladders. Revok's mind spun with questions, fear, and memories he never had. He felt lost, but Vale's voice kept him grounded. "We have to reach the maintenance exit," Vale called. "Out! It leads to the lower transport rails. From there, we escape." "Escape where?" Revok yelled. "To someone who knows more about your past than I do." Revok didn't understand, but he nodded anyway. He had no choice. They finally reached a ladder leading down to a narrow walkway. Revok climbed first, his hands sweaty and slippery. Vale followed, but one of the attackers jumped from above and landed on the platform behind them. The metal groaned from the weight. Vale turned around and aimed his device. A blast of blue energy shot out, sending the attacker flying into the pipes. Sparks exploded. The engine room flashed with bright white light, but more attackers were coming. Revok reached the bottom of the ladder and looked at Vale. "You fight like you're not human." A small smile touched Vale's lips. "I'm human enough, but enhanced, stronger, faster, built for missions like this." "Built?" Revok repeated. Vale didn't answer. He pulled Revak close. What matters is this. I was sent to protect you, and I will not fail. They reached the maintenance exit, a narrow metal door, half broken from age. Vale kicked it open, and they stepped into a dark tunnel lit by red emergency lights. The noise from the engine room faded behind them. Revak breathed hard, exhausted, but something inside him had changed. For the first time, he felt a strange energy inside his chest. Not fear, something else. Maybe strength. Maybe destiny. Vale finally spoke again, softer this time. The relic your family protected. It responds to blood, your blood. The attackers want to use it as a weapon. We cannot let that happen. Revak swallowed. So, I have to protect it too? No, Vale said. You have to find it and discover why it chose your family. Revak felt a wave of fear, but also a spark of courage. He was no longer just a waiter, and the galaxy wanted something from him. The maintenance tunnel was long and narrow, with red alarm lights flashing slowly like a dying heartbeat. The metal walls felt cold, and the air smelled like dust and burnt wires. Revak followed Vale closely, but every step felt heavier. His mind kept repeating the same impossible truth. He was not just a waiter, he was the last key to an ancient power, and people were hunting him because of it. Vale stopped suddenly and raised a hand. Revak froze behind him. From far behind, the echo of metal footsteps grew louder, slow at first, then clear and sharp. The attackers were entering the tunnel. They're coming, Vale whispered. Revak's throat tightened. How many? 2. Many, Vale answered calmly. Without hesitation. Vale grabbed Revak's arm and pulled him forward. We must reach the transport rails before they corner us. The tunnel opened into a wide maintenance platform overlooking one of the space station's largest internal systems, the transport rail network. It was a complex maze of moving carts, cables, magnets, and glowing tracks stretching across multiple levels like a giant metal spiderweb. Revak stepped back in shock. I didn't know the station looked like this inside. Vale didn't slow down. This is only one part. The whole station is like a living machine, and right now, it's not on our side. As they moved along the platform, Vale scanned the rails below. High-speed cargo carts zoomed from one end to the other, carrying supplies across the station. Some moved like bullets, some floated gently on magnetic beds. Revak stared down nervously. You want us to jump on one of those? Yes, Vale said. While they're moving? Yes, Revak shook his head. I am not built for this. Vale finally looked at him with a rare smile. Most heroes aren't built for their first jump, but they jump anyway. Before Revak could respond, the sound of footsteps exploded behind them. The attackers had reached the platform. Red-eyed figures stepped out of the tunnel, their voices cold and mechanical. Target located. Do not allow escape. Vale pushed Revak forward. Move. They sprinted across the platform as laser shots blasted the metal around them. Sparks flew everywhere. One beam hit a control box, causing a burst of white fire that nearly blinded Revak. Down here! Vale shouted. They reached the end of the platform, where a ladder led down to a lower level directly above the rail tracks. Revak climbed as fast as he could, hands shaking, legs trembling. Vale fired short bursts of blue energy to slow the attackers. But they kept advancing, unfazed. When they reached the lower level, Revak felt the high winds from the speed of the cargo carts. It roared past him like a storm. His heart pounded so hard he thought it might break. Vale pointed to a large cart approaching on the nearest rail. This one is slow enough. When it reaches the marker line, jump. Revak stared at the cart, horrified. It's still moving too fast. You'll make it, Vale insisted. Revak took a deep breath. Maybe he would die if he jumped, but he was sure he would die if he stayed. He stepped to the edge, legs trembling. Vale counted down. 3, 2, 1, go. Revak jumped. For a moment, he felt weightless, falling through cold air. Then thud! He landed on the cargo cart's roof, rolling painfully to the side. He groaned, but he was alive. Vale landed beside him a second later, smooth, controlled, almost graceful. But the attackers were not stopping. Several of them leaped from the platform, landing on other moving carts. Their red eyes glowed brighter, locking onto Revak. They're still coming. Revak shouted. Vale crouched low and prepared his weapon. They will keep coming until we reach someone who can help you. Revak held onto the metal roof as the cart sped deeper into the station. Lights flashed past them, wind roared in their ears, and the rail track curved sharply like a serpent. Who are we going to? Revak asked breathlessly. Vale replied without looking at him. Someone who knows the truth about your past. Someone who has been waiting for you. Revak swallowed hard. And who is that? Before Vale could answer, lasers from the attackers tore past them, lighting up the rails in bright red streaks. Vale shouted, "Asterisk, hold on. Things are about to get worse." The cart sped into a dim tunnel, and the attackers closed in behind them like shadows in a nightmare. Revak realized something very clearly. His normal life was gone forever, and a dangerous new destiny was chasing him through the heart of the station. The cargo cart shot out of the dark tunnel and entered a long open section of the rail network. Bright lights flashed over Revak's head, and the heavy wind pulled at his clothes. He held tightly to the metal roof, his heart beating fast, fear mixing with a strange new strength inside him. Vale stayed low beside him, eyes sharp, watching every movement behind them. The attackers were still coming, jumping from rail to rail, landing on moving carts with mechanical precision. Their red eyes glowed like burning stars in the distance. Revak shouted over the roaring wind. "Where are we going? Who can help us?" Vale looked forward, then pointed at a huge circular gate far ahead. "To the old transit control sector. Someone waits there." "But who?" Revak asked again. Vale didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his coat, pulled out a small device, and activated a thin shield barrier around them. It glowed faint blue, blocking the cold wind, but not the sound of the attackers behind them. Revak took out the message chip, the same one Vale had left under his plate. The blue light from the chip reflected on his green skin. "I need to understand," Revak said breathlessly. "Why did you leave this for me? What does it mean?" Vale nodded. "Good. It's time." Revak pressed the chip lightly. A holographic projection opened above it, showing floating symbols from ancient alien script. Revak didn't understand any of it. Vale explained calmly. "This message was not written by me. I only delivered it." Revak blinked. "Delivered it? Then who wrote it?" Vale looked at him with serious eyes. "Your mother." Revak's entire world froze. For a moment, he didn't feel the wind, the speed, or the danger. All he heard were those two words echoing over and over. "Your mother. She died," Revak whispered. "No," Vale said. "She survived. She hid you when you were small, then sent this message chip many years later. It was her way of calling you back when it was safe." Revak's throat tightened. His chest ached. "Why didn't she come for me?" "She couldn't," Vale said softly. "She was being hunted too. She went into deep hiding, far deeper than you can imagine. She waited until she found proof the relic still existed. Only then did she send the message." Revak stared at the holographic symbols, his hands trembling. "What does the message say?" Vale tapped the chip gently, and the projection shifted into clear, plain words. "My son, if you receive this, it means you have grown, and danger has returned. You must come home. The relic lives, and so do I." Revak covered his mouth as tears filled his eyes. He had lived his whole life believing. He had no family left. Now he learned his mother had survived all along. Vale continued. "The coordinates inside the message lead to a hidden world, one she fled to. She has been waiting for the day you would be ready to reclaim your bloodline's duty. Revak's voice shook. I don't understand this relic. Why is it so important? Vale looked out toward the attackers still chasing them, then spoke. In a deeper tone, the relic is not just an object. It is a power source older than most civilizations. A key to ancient technology that could either protect galaxies or destroy them. Your family was chosen to guard it because your bloodline carries a unique signature linked to the relic. But I'm only a waiter, Revak said softly. Vale leaned closer. You were a waiter, because that was the safest way to hide. A quiet life, a meaningless job, that is how you survived. Revak looked down at the chip again. My mother. She really waited for me. Yes, Vale answered. She believed you would grow strong enough one day. And she trusted humans to keep watch until then. Humans? Revak whispered. You mean your people? Knew about me? Vale nodded. The Human Alliance worked with your mother. She asked us to protect you from the shadows until the relic resurfaced. You were not alone. Not for a single day. Revak's eyes filled again, not with sadness this time, but with something brighter. Hope. Before he could speak, Vale suddenly grabbed his arm. Hold on. The cart swerved sharply as the attackers fired several laser shots. One beam hit the back section of the cart, causing a bright explosion. The entire platform shook violently. They're getting closer. Revak shouted. Yes, Vale said. Because they know the truth too. Revak clutched the chip tightly. What truth? Vale's answer came like thunder. You are the only one left who can unlock the relic. Without you, the galaxy stays safe. With you, it could fall into war. Revak felt his fear turn into resolve. He finally understood. This journey was not only about survival, it was about destiny, and he had to reach his mother. Before the enemy reached him, the cargo cart rattled violently as it sped down the transport rails. Sparks flew from the wheels, and sharp winds blasted across the roof. Revak held onto the metal tightly, trying not to fall off. His heart felt heavy with fear, but the message from his mother still echoed in his mind. She was alive. The relic was real, and the hunters wanted him, only him. The attackers were closing in. They moved with unnatural speed, jumping from cart to cart like machines built only for pursuit. Their red eyes glowed brighter as they focused on Revak, ignoring Vale completely. They're not trying to kill me, Vale shouted. They want you. Revak swallowed hard. Why not take the relic itself? Why chase me? Because you are part of it, Vale answered. Without you, it's useless. With you, it's unstoppable. Revak felt cold fear slide down his spine. Suddenly, Vale's shield fizzled and short-circuited. A laser bolt had struck its power emitter. The wind hit them again with full force. We need to change carts. Vale yelled. The cart they were on was speeding toward a broken section of the rail, a collapsed segment under repair. If they stayed on this cart, it would fall straight into open space. Vale pointed to a cart running parallel to theirs, slightly lower and moving slightly slower. Jump on my mark, Vale commanded. This time, aim for the center. Do not hesitate. Revak nodded, though fear twisted his stomach. This was madness, but staying here meant certain death. Vale counted down. 3, 2, 1 now. They jumped. Revak felt the wind tear at his clothes as he fell. The cart rushed up to meet him, and he landed hard, rolling painfully across its curved roof. Vale landed beside him moments later, perfectly controlled, but 3 attackers jumped after them, landing only meters away. They won't stop, Revak cried. They can't, Vale replied. Their orders are absolute. One attacker charged. Vale met him head-on, blocking a metal fist with his arm. The impact was so strong it made the entire cart shake. Revak saw metal skin peel off Vale's arm, revealing something underneath. Something not fully human. A layer of synthetic muscle, wires and glowing circuits. Revak froze. You're a machine? Vale threw the attacker into a side rail before answering. No, I'm a hybrid. Human mind, human heart, mechanical strength. Created by the Human Alliance for missions like this. Revok stared at him in disbelief. All this time. You were hiding what you are? Vale grabbed Revok's shoulder firmly. I hid it so you would trust me as a person, not as a weapon. Another attacker leaped toward them. Vale spun and kicked it off the cart, sending it crashing onto the rail with sparks flying everywhere. But more were coming. Revok felt helpless. He had no weapon. No training. Nothing but fear and a message chip. Vale, he shouted. I can't do anything. You're fighting alone. Vale shook his head as he blocked 2 more blows. You can do something. You can survive. Revok felt frustration burn inside him. Survive for what? To bring the relic? To start a war. No, Vale said sharply. To end one. Before Revok could respond, one attacker managed to land behind him and reached for his neck. Revok screamed. Vale blocked the strike with his own body. A sharp blade tore deep into Vale's side, sparks erupting from the wound. Revok watched in horror as Vale stumbled but did not fall. Vale, he shouted, you're hurt. I'm fine, Vale said through clenched teeth. My systems can repair this later. Right now. He grabbed the attacker and threw it off the speeding cart. We need to reach the end of the line. Revok crawled closer to Vale. Why? What's at the end? Vale pointed toward a massive towering structure ahead. The rail lines converged into a central docking hub, one of the oldest parts of the station. Barely used anymore. Someone is waiting for you, Vale said. Someone your mother trusted. Someone who knows where she is. Revok's eyes widened. You mean we're close? Vale nodded, but the hunters know this too. The closer we get, the more desperate they will become. Revok looked at the approaching hub. It was huge, ancient, and glowing with old blue lights. The rail cart was heading straight toward it, toward something that might save his life or complicate it forever. Behind them, the attackers gathered for one final push. Vale lowered his stance, preparing to fight. Revok clutched the message chip and whispered, Mother, I'm coming. The cart roared forward, sparks flying under the wheels. As the war for one ordinary waiter reached its breaking point, the cargo cart screeched as it entered the ancient docking hub. Sparks burst from the wheels, and the metal floor trembled under the impact. Revok held on tightly while Vale stood tall, even with the deep wound in his side. Even with sparks leaking from his damaged systems, the attackers were now only seconds. Behind them, red eyes, cold voices, unstoppable steps. Revok felt Vale pull into the edge of the cart. When it stops, Vale said, breathing heavily, get off and run toward the old tower. Don't wait for me. Revok shook his head. I'm not leaving you. You saved me, over and over. Vale smiled faintly, something strangely human in the gesture. That was my mission. You living was always more important than me surviving. Revok grabbed Vale's arm. No, that's not how humans behave. Or how heroes behave. Before Vale could answer, the cart slammed to a complete stop inside the hub. Revok and Vale were thrown onto the metal platform. Alarms blared overhead. Deep automated voice echoed across the chamber. Unauthorized access detected. Lockdown in progress. But there was no time to think. The attackers leaped into the hub, landing heavily on the metal floor. Their eyes glowed brighter than ever almost. Blinding red. They marched forward in a perfect line. Vale stepped in front of Revok. Run, now. But Revok didn't move. I won't run without knowing who's waiting for me, he said. You said someone here knows my mother, knows my past. Vale opened his mouth, but another voice echoed across the chamber. I do. Revok turned sharply. A figure stepped out from behind a large metal pillar, cloaked in an old, dark travel robe. The figure walked slowly, With the calmness of someone who had seen centuries pass, Ravak's breath caught in his throat. The face beneath the hood was familiar, yet older, soft green skin like his own, eyes full of sorrow but also pride. "Mother?" Ravak whispered. The woman lowered her hood fully. "Yes, my son." Ravak ran to her and collapsed into her arms. Tears streamed down his face. Years of loneliness, fear, and confusion melted in an instant. She held him tightly. "I never stopped watching over you," she said. "I sent the humans my message, hoping they would protect you until I could return." Ravak looked up at her. "Why didn't you come for me sooner?" Her face darkened. "Because the relic resurfaced. And your bloodline was needed again. I had to wait for the moment you were ready." Vale stepped forward slowly, weakened but still alert. "The hunters are here. We must move." Ravak's mother nodded. Double quotes yes. But first Ravak must learn the truth. She touched Ravak's forehead gently. A soft blue light spread across his skin. He felt something inside him unlock like a door he didn't know existed. Suddenly, glowing patterns appeared on his arms. Ancient royal markings. Ravak gasped. What is happening to me?" His mother spoke softly. "Our family once carried the power to activate the relic, a device that could reshape energy and matter. A force that could protect worlds or destroy them. Only our bloodline can command it." Ravak trembled. "But why me?" "I was nobody." "No," she said firmly. "You were hidden, not lost." Before they could speak more, the attackers charged. Vale stepped forward again, but his systems flickered. He could barely stand. Ravak's mother raised her hands. A blue wave burst from her palms, striking the attackers and sending them crashing backward. Ravak stared in disbelief. "You have powers?" "No," she replied. "I have knowledge. The relic amplified it. And now, so will you." Another attacker rose from the ground and rushed toward them. This time, Ravak reacted. Without thinking, he raised his hand. A burst of blue light exploded from his palm, slamming the attacker into a steel wall. The force was so strong it shook the entire hub. Ravak stared at his glowing hand. I did that?" His mother smiled softly. "Yes, the relic has chosen you now." The remaining attackers analyzed the situation and froze. Their orders had failed. Ravak stepped forward, power rising inside him like a rising storm. "Go back," he commanded, voice strong, "or be destroyed." The attackers turned and fled into the shadows. The battle was over. Vale collapsed to one knee, sparks dripping from his wound. Ravak ran to him. "Vale, stay with me." Vale smiled weakly. "This is what humans do. We protect those who deserve a chance." Ravak grabbed his shoulders. "You're not just a machine. You're my friend." Vale nodded. "And you are no longer just a waiter." Ravak's mother placed her hand on his back. "You are the heir of a lost royal line, and the only one who can control the relic." Ravak looked out at the star-filled docking hub. His life had changed forever, and somewhere in the galaxy, enemies would soon learn